This is the world now, bringing you everything you need to know from around the globe. Cuba has received a sanctioned Russian oil tanker carrying approximately 730,000 barrels of crude, the first fuel delivery to reach the island this year under a U.S. oil blockade. Russia's transport ministry on Monday confirmed the vessel docked at the port of Matanzas. Experts say the shipment could produce roughly 180,000 barrels of diesel, enough to meet Cuba's daily demand for 9 to 10 days. President Trump told reporters on Sunday he had, quote, no problem with the delivery, though the White House said there has been no firm change in U.S. sanctions policy and that future decisions will be made on a case-by-case basis. Cuba has endured island-wide blackouts since the United States cut off Venezuela's oil exports to Havana in January. President Trump had threatened tariffs on any country supplying Cuba with crude oil, but reversed course Sunday, expressing sympathy for the Cuban people. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell told Harvard students on Monday that the Fed will hold interest rates steady and watch how the Iran war reshapes the U.S. economy before making any move. Speaking on campus in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Powell acknowledged that the Fed now faces a direct conflict between its two core mandates of keeping prices stable while protecting jobs as the Iran war enters its fifth week and national gasoline prices climb to an average of $4 a gallon. Brent crude traded at $111 a barrel on Monday, and West Texas Intermediate rose to $102. Markets had priced in a rate hike last week, but after Powell's remarks, those expectations disappeared. The Fed left its benchmark rate unchanged at 3.5 to 3.75% earlier this month. Powell's term ends on May 15th, with Trump nominee Kevin Warsh set to succeed him. Spain's defense ministry announced on Monday that Madrid had closed its airspace to all U.S. military aircraft involved in the Iran war. Madrid had already been refusing the use of jointly operated bases. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has called the U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iran reckless and illegal. President Trump has threatened to cut trade with Spain over the dispute. The closure forces U.S. military aircraft to reroute around the NATO member state on missions to the Middle East. Israel's parliament passed a law on Monday making the death penalty the default sentence for Palestinians convicted of deadly attacks. The law requires execution by hanging within 90 days of sentencing. 62 of the 120 Knesset members backed the bill. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu voted in favor after pushing to soften its terms. Israeli rights groups filed an appeal with the country's Supreme Court the same day. Britain, France, Germany, and Italy condemned the law as discriminatory. Palestinian militant groups Hamas and Islamic Jihad immediately called for revenge attacks. 주시하는, 아리랑뉴스.